blows unless I should learn more.
No, don't worry about that. Orientation is locked, rotate device back. Well, that probably means something.
Yes. Orientation. Oh, it's yeah, I don't know if
I was like, I'm doing.
You know when you turn your phone on the side and the apps move?
And I was like,
No.
okay, and do you want to
No.
do it? And they were like, yeah, I guess I'm gonna hang out with you. It's not as reluctant, but it definitely was.
Auto
like,
rotate.
I was not expecting to have to do something on this day, but like, cool.
Orientation. Okay. I unlocked it, so
I have no idea what it means.
can we like X out and try again?
Okay.
Now I'm just gonna use it.
Yeah. So now.
Because I put your orientation on auto.
Why don't you go to my YouTube and see what it looks like?
Oh, okay.
Then we know.
It worked so hard.
If everybody's looking at it sideways or not.
We only did before scans we made last time. Yeah, we did both of yours now. Oh, that was just the last one? Oh, damn. I think we've spent 6 hours total on the 2.
It was just like the way I decided to try and put it out.
Hey!
Umbrella stuff.
Oh my God, yay, there's more than just me. I was like, we're gonna be going. So we're just making sure that is if I'm like sideways before I show you guys my setup and we get into it. Okay. Let me go grab that.
Yep.
Okay,
Sideways.
I'm sideways. So what does that mean if my orientation is locked, rotate device? This?
I think it's the phone. It wants you to be the phone. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Go
Thank you for providing.
up. Turn it all the way around. No, the
The phone is upside down now.
Yes.
This way or this way?
like that.
What is it looking at?
Ah, there we go. Now it. Oh, it's delayed.
It's delayed. Okay, so if I do this, then it's right side up. Can you guys hear me?
Hi there.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Great, says yes. Here we go. So speckling yarn seems like it's just dropping, you know, some dye, and this is what it looks like speckled on. But there's so much to consider about the margin of the speckle, the diameter of the speckle, what yarn or what dye. Let's close this. I don't want to hear that. You know, which colors speckle well and which ones don't. How each base yarn takes speckle. And there's different speckling tools. Some people really like a T-steep. Is this even in frame? Yeah, okay.
No, I think it brings it up a little more.
Okay, like this.
That looks good.
Is that better? Okay, so we have a T-steep. And this is a cake dusting wand where you put the dye in, you turn it, and then you can go like that. Both of these are perfectly fine. I don't love them because I don't have the control, and sometimes you can get dump marks, as you'll see. And I just wanted to show, this is all the exact same, these were all next to each other in the pan, speckled in the way I'm about to show, which is high water table speckling, which is what most dyers on the market do because it's very efficient if you're gonna do hundreds of skeins of the same colorway. And we do have some speckles, but for the most part, we're getting a lot of back bleed, and I wouldn't necessarily look at something like this and say speckle, as opposed to these. And you guys will get an opportunity, obviously, to look at all of them. So we've got superwash versus non-superwash. And I have them together, and what I want you to really look at is how crisp and clear the colors are on the superwash, but they are not on the non-superwash. It takes so much longer for the dye to adhere that they actually bled together. So I'm gonna send that around so you guys can look at just the difference. This is the difference in water table.
I know, right? Yeah, that was gorgeous.
You'll never ever get that again. It's totally non-reproducible. This is a high water table. high water table. Now we're gonna look at speckling in the round. Some people love it. I'm not people. I prefer, you know. So this is the same amount of dye dropped in the same pan with the skein together, and you get, this is the same exact number of shakes from the thing. The only difference is low water table, high water table. So that's gonna be like the gist today of determining what amount of speckles you like and what amount of color dispersion, how much expected brownout is acceptable, whether you like more of a diffusion of color type speckle, or if you like more, you know, pops of color that come through whatever the background is, which is typically white. So I'll send those over. I'm gonna put, these are gonna be available for looking at. I can't keep them on the table for obvious reasons.
You don't want to
It's not green, no?
I have it on the plastic thing so that, okay, I'm gonna come from behind and it's gonna be a very hot tray. There we go. Okay. And then Alex, can you get the steamer going? You're just gonna put water up to just underneath it. Why, what's happening?
It was upside down still, so I think they want it like your point of view.
No, they're not paying and the people in front of me are, so I don't care about that. They can write their phones or something.
in your way. No, you're good.
Okay.
Come back from her. We can move.
Okay. So, this is just citric acid, water, and a single skein. I don't typically speckle a single skein because, as you can see, there's a lot of space for dye to land and then traverse in. So you need a minimum 2, which is 2 100-gram skeins. 3 is ideal to create enough resist when you speckle that it's not turning the water around it a color, and then you're getting these weird grays and browns in your cute rainbow speckle. But for our purposes, I'm really showing you what these colors look like more than anything else. You have 2 skeins to decide if you want to do 1 in the pan. Now what I'm going to do is, for repeatability, let's say I'm doing like a bunch of different colors, right? I don't want it folded up on itself. I want it laid out so that both sides of the skein and there's no overlap for the maximum amount of speckle density. And I'll use this because that's really hot. Why did I get it hot first? Because technically you can speckle on yarn cold and throw it on the burner after, but there's going to be more color migration in between then and when it starts to get hot. So if you want to keep the color migration for it to stick where it lands, you want it hot and acidic and ready to receive the speckles. So the first one I'm going to do, I created my little cute tray. Hopefully you guys can see that. And each one is color coded. These are the best performing in my opinion. Lollipop Red from ProChem is the best true neutral red that doesn't bleed or turn weird. Dharma's Fluorescent Orange is just a great fluorescent orange for a rainbow colorway. Dharma Fluorescent Lemon. I'm using ProChem's Fiber Reactive Bright Green because I did not like the most recent batch of spearmint. We have Dharma's Bright Aqua, great for speckling. ProChem's Electric Violet. Our pink is Rhodamine Red. This is one we're gonna have to be careful with. It's a super potent color and it bleeds and spreads like crazy. And then my favorite gray for speckling is Dharma Silver Gray. And you guys will be able to use these. I also have some fiber reactive colors that are meant for ice dyeing that we'll look at in just a little bit. So it's really simple. I can decide I want to do random, And if I'm gonna do random, then I know I'm not going to have, when I go back to knit it, there's gonna be a it'll be so unpredictable that the skein sitting next to it will not match. So when you put it in your sweater, there will be a hard jump. So I typically like to keep things in rainbow order going this way, just so that it goes that way when I'm knitting. The more random I introduce, the less likely the skeins are gonna match and be usable together, unless you like that look. So I'm gonna start, and remember, this section of the skein on the turn is like, this is 20% and this is 20%. So if these are equally represented, then whatever's at either end is actually gonna end up being most of it. So we wanna do shorter amount of speckling and color on the ends, and then the rest in the middle, your other 5 colors, so that it's equally represented when you go back around. So here's what our red looks like. And you really, this is citric acid crystals and dye. And the reason I put those together is actually to stop it.
So it doesn't spread around.
So I don't get a huge dump. I don't want a huge dump. And I'm only putting these in so you see what they look like. But you can see there's like a lot of drift down, and I don't want to make a value judgment on that drift down. This is going to be one person's holy grail and one person's nightmare. So, you know, what people love and look for in speckles. Now, yellow is a very, very weak color. So that means that if I were to put this green right on the line, the yellow would disappear and we'd get some browning in the orange. So I'm actually moving it further this way just so that it drifts up and I still have yellow. Otherwise, you're gonna go from orange, brown, and then straight into green. And you notice I'm being really conservative. I'm using very little, because if you put as much on as you ultimately want, you will end up with a giant, usually some shade of brown nightmare. It's easier to put less and then wait for it to spread and assess than it is to just snow the whole thing and then watch what happens when it's on the heat. And the heat goes like this, and you can already see there's color in the edges right here. So, okay, and then we're gonna go like this. All right, so that is what our colors look like. Alex, can you put a lid on this and put it on the heat at 200 for 22 minutes? And just carry it really flat.
Do we need to get out of the way?
Yes.
There's another, you want to put it in that room?
Sure, I mean, I thought that we had to have it on 2 breakers.
Yeah, but I have another burner in that room.
Oh, sure, okay. Yeah, put it in the other room. Okay. No pressure. Under pressure. So now what I'm gonna do, just so you guys can see at the end of class, is the way, if I want really tightly controlled speckles, this is more work, but in my opinion, worth it. We lay out some plastic wrap. And I had to figure something out because I started dyeing in 2008 in my dad's batch, like basically a studio size apartment. And it was like, what do I got in the sink or under the sink? How am I gonna make this work to do all this speckle testing? Grab. There's a DK, so I'll get this DK. Okay. Now we're just gonna do the exact same thing. And I want it to be as much water as I can get out without, you know.
So the dye doesn't migrate.
What temperature?
200 for 21 minutes. There we go. Now I'm gonna lay this out so that I don't have, so that, do you see? Like, we're making sure that there's no chunk that's bunched over on itself. And we wanna have a good 8 inches on either side. And now I have citric acid that's been dissolved in hot water, and that's gonna help me fix. Even though this was in a citric acid soak, I wanna make sure that when I go and put the speckles on that I fix them in place. And if I don't, they just kind of smear. So now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go.
So is that like makeup setting mist?
I didn't bring those. I have them. Unfortunately, I got this is a nice one, but I have a continuous mist I use at home. But the one, so if you don't dissolve it in hot water and let it sit for a couple hours, what'll happen is a crystal of the citric acid will go up this and then it'll just never work again. I don't know why it doesn't like dissolve and come back down, but it lodges and then they're just stuck. So it's about, I think with this, it was a 1/4 teaspoon to probably 60 mLs of water. If you want these to last a long time, use distilled. If you're using tap water, this is gonna start to get mildewy and chunky within a few weeks. So now I'm just going to, you know what? I'm gonna mist it. Wow. We will have one, it happened live. Wait, is it? Oh no, I've got more. I think there's more in that tray. Yeah, here we go. I buy them in. Well, how do two go bad at the same time? How do two go bad at the same time? Well, we'll just have to make that work. Okay, so we're gonna go with the red and just with the same as before. Exact same, great, thank you. Color dispersion, and you'll see that part of the reason I put the citric acid, you could use salt as well, because the dye is adhering to the crystal.
Right. Does iodized salt work any differently than other?
It doesn't do
crystals?
anything.
Okay.
I use the expensive restaurant salt that's super fine. And if I want it coarser. So there are colors like the rhodamine red that have a very different texture. Well, you won't see because it's all attached. That have a very different, like each of these dyes, some of them are powdery, some of them are cornstarch, some of them are like grainy, sandy, and that means they have a different drop. And so if I want all the speckles to be more uniform, then having something in here like salt, like citric acid, is going to make the diameter of the color more uniform. Because the hot pink is gonna be, it bleeds back immediately. You don't see a speckle because it's such a, oh, there's tape stuck to it. There's such a,
So fine.
yeah. It's just so, no, well, yeah, these have citric acid in them. You can also use salt.
Which is great because then we don't have to remember to put the citric.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Saves you a step.
Yeah, you'll know if you, you'll know because you're gonna go home and then rinse it and the whole thing is gonna look like ass. Now, can you see just by me showing it, do you see the hot pink showing up? That's just just from doing this. So, yeah.
Don't be shy, get on in there.
Don't be shy, everybody wants a nose full of this.
So how do we make sure that the back is getting speckled too? Or
You
does the front
can,
only
you
get
will, I used to teach doing both. The number of students that were really unhappy because they put way the fuck too much on one side, smears, brown, it doesn't, if you don't have that white space, then you don't have a speckle.
speckled? Right.
So you're welcome to flip them. I can show you flipping this one, but it's pretty, let me go, there should be a speckle in there that's like way the fuck too much.
Well, I guess my question is, if we're only speckling it on one side, what does the other side look like? Does it still look speckled because the water moves the color all the way through?
No, that's your background, so you have a speckle. If you don't have white space, you don't have a speckle. They all blend together. So you can flip it, but all that white space being gone.
Top and bottom.
So it'll get too big and it'll just become a stripey type of thing?
Well, that's an example of, but there's another one that's like scary too much. This.
Scary too. Well, it's not very speckly anymore.
It's not, that's what I'm saying, they grow together. You need the white space.
Well,
It's-
to me,
it's
the white
prettier
space is
in-
like the in-between
No,
here.
it's
But
not.
why would the back of it be?
Because imagine this is like laid flat, laid this way. So those sections where you have 4 or 5 white stitches before you come to another speckle give a background for them to be on.
It's because it's a circle.
But it's also,
you're not gonna see the stuff on the
It's not a
bottom.
spiral, so we don't have all of it pooled on the top and the rest is all.
This might not be the best picture from my class, but that's my speckled one as a skein, and then like when it was flat, and then I thought it still did it like quite nice.
I feel like
Yeah. But I think it's just, if you want, you can't control, all of the stuff you put on the top will be smeared once you flip it.
yeah.
So that's up to you, whether or not, it's just overwhelmingly the
That's one
students
Nicole
weren't happy with it.
For somebody else, the kind of icy or blue.
Yeah.
This one looks very interesting because to me it looks like it's like almost tweedy.
It's what happens if you just keep going and keep going, but you're extremely lucky or extremely good at reading how each of those colors are gonna break
I would
so that
just
you
be-
don't end up brown, all brown.
So do you sometimes like do two colors in one section? That almost looks like it's.
We're gonna talk about these colors that are for ice dyeing, and they're meant for breaking. But these are like,
This is ice
It's like a mix
Yeah.
of colors.
yeah, so these are for cotton, but they actually also work for wool. Unfortunately, the wool dyes do not work on the cotton dyes. There's very few colors in the Procyon, AKA cotton dyes. Base color, this color doesn't exist
Okay.
for ice dyeing.
Okay.
It doesn't exist. It's just that ugly hot pink, but it's not hot pink. It's like reddish.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are a lot of colors that you can get in acid reactive lines for wool silk that you cannot get and do not exist for cotton.
Okay, so the acid is with wool.
Acids with wool, cellulose is with cotton, but we're not doing cotton, so
Right,
there's
right,
no need
right.
to put that in your brain. Yeah. So what do you guys think we should put at the end here since we have a little bit of extra room? Do you want to try what one of these looks like?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Probably I'll try Interstellar.
Oh.
I also wanted to ask, so some of the speckle will have like, instead of white, a different color as like the background.
Sure, you could put a different color on.
So
Not in this
how would
class.
how would you do that? Would you dye it first then speckle,
Yeah.
or would you speckle and then
No,
over dye?
No. You don't overdye speckles, not successfully anyway. You can, but it's much better to put your base color on and then speckle over that so it's clean. Because once you put the speckle in, whatever's that base color, it can really overtake. Whereas the other way, you've got strands that are almost at level with the water, so they're not like fully mixing with the background color. And the background color has to be super, super, super pale. Super pale. So I hope this one works. Yeah. And then this is really doing is just making sure that any bit of dye that's not adhered or stuck to the yarn does. And then I'm gonna take a paper towel, and this is just me. I like my stuff to be exactly the way I want it, and I want it not to have, when I roll this up, I don't want there to be anything from the side muddying it up. There we go.
Would that mostly turn it brown like you were talking about before?
Just smeary,
Yeah.
smeared. And that whimsical, freckly, adorable is gone. And then you just kind of have like, it's all browned out on the edges because all those colors, once the steam gets in this is going to become a steam bath. So I want to make sure that I don't have little like chunks of dye and stuff like that are
In the wrong place.
traveling along. And if this yellow gets over here, it's brown, and it's not a pretty brown. So now we're gonna go like that, and then we're gonna go like that. I usually use a much bigger one. What I'm trying to do is flip this over on itself so that there is absolutely no cross transference, and then I keep the seam up. This is so important. Please keep your seam up so that your colors don't puke dye on anybody else's.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So that's gonna go in the steamer, and that one right over there, and then put a timer for 22 minutes. And is this not, I just love the way this looks. It's like, I wanna live here.
That looks like a shirt.
Yeah.
I love it.
So now we're gonna do, oh, how am I sitting on that? Well, anyway, that was from the plane. I was trying to do a crochet swatch on a plane. And now we're gonna do colors, let's see, high water table colors that are meant for breaking. Yes, let me get another tray. Let's make this one work. Thank you. Now, I'm gonna find two skeins that are the same because it's really, can wipe my hands off. Thanks, ma'am. Wait, are you Rachel, they, them?
He, they, whatever.
Is she, they? Okay, I don't want to misgender.
How many minutes? 22?
22. Actually, you're going to keep that running. The timer's on your, no. The timer's on your phone. That needs to run for the whole class. Yeah, the timer's on the phone just to take it out, and you can use one of those little, I got the aluminum roasting trays so people can keep their, if you want to put these next to that.
I
Okay.
have an extra on my phone too, just in case.
So we do need to be, mindful of the fact that, like, not to touch our partner's yarn. This is just trace. So we don't want to accidentally mess somebody's stuff up. I've had it happen before and they get very, very upset, depending on the person. Okay, I'll be right back.
We're gonna do the same thing. We both had the same idea. Derek, what about? Oh, nice.
We were like, so Whitney and I are Ducks fans, and so both of us like came at this with like, we want to make our own beanies to wear to the game.
Cute. That's a great idea.
So well, unless you changed your mind, because I was like, then we are going to do the same kind of the same thing, the same general idea, but it'll be different. I'm just excited because they don't really have cute like hats that I really like there. And then when I see them and they're like,
And they all have fleece inside, which is garbage.
yeah, Whitney doesn't like.
Because it just feels like plastic.
Thank you. It feels awful on your head. Who wants to wear that?
What's awful on the head?
When they line like knitted hats with fleece.
I like them with silk because I have curly
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah, way better.
Silk, yep. Okay, so we're gonna show breaking colors, high water table, because I think there was an idea, and I thought that this was the case too, when I was first, dyeing, I did my first batch of cotton in 2009, and I was super into the concept of ice dyeing and ice dyeing for fabric. And I realized, you can use these dyes for wool, but a lot of the colors for acid dyes don't break at all. That's the color of your speckle. If it's not a primary, all of the colors. And I brought some speckle examples, like this is what, but it's all the same three, it's the same, it's just a pink, a yellow, and a blue at a different saturation point mixed with a filler. So when you're looking at this color, it says it's pearl gray. I don't think anybody, and it probably is pearl gray when it's done. Do you want to bring those ice dyed swatches over?
These ones?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, those. All of them. I'll put them right over here. So I'm working on a book that's just growing and growing and growing, but I thought, it would be, how do we get this effect on yarn, right? Wouldn't this be amazing? Can we get this effect on yarn? So these are all the colors we have today. This is what they look like broken, dyed on fabric with ice. And we can try, let's say you really like the way that this color composition looks. I've got a sample that I spent all day yesterday making, and I wound it this morning at dawn to show you. This is Dragonheart. Hold on, let me pull it. That's how it looks on fabric. And this is low water table, no water table. Whoops, is it in there?
No.
There we go. There it is on yarn. So that's a small amount. You can go ahead and send these around. So I'm gonna do one of each, and I should probably put it in a specific order. Okay. What order should I put these in so that it makes sense? Let's see. I think I'm just gonna go in the order that they were in the tray. So these are always going to break into their component parts, and there's really just the three primaries and a filler. And same thing, I have the citric acid. So the order they're in the tray is going to be the order that these are in. So if you like a specific section, And do you see? You can actually see all of the color. Here, let's see if we can get really close.
It's like little tadpoles.
Yeah.
Tall people can come and go.
There was a party I saw once, online, not in person, that the tallest person in the room was the only one that didn't have platforms on, and everybody's platform brought them, if you were 5'2" and they were 6'2", you were wearing a 12-inch platform.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
It was
would
so
die.
cool. Can you imagine going to a party where everybody's your height? I mean. Okay, the only one we missed was Dharma Avalon. Maybe I could put some right there and right there. So this is an easy way to get a complex, comprehensive speckle without having to do any work and mixing them together. But there is a fourth option I've not shown. My husband 3D printed me these,
That's what I was thinking too.
and that you can put any color in them. And I'm gonna do a skein where I'm gonna put 4 colors in. You guys are gonna help me pick the colors. And then I'm gonna mix all 4 colors on the other side to see the difference between dropping them individually but next to each other versus all mixed up in the speckler ball.
Interesting.
So if you don't mind, this needs 22 minutes and a lid. There should be one more lid. Where is it?
Did you guys want to see these?
Oh, I saw them last time.
Okay. Isn't that interesting? So you get the whole speckle range without actually having to
What's
do
the
it.
orange one called again?
It's Phoenix Flame. You'll know what
But, like,
colors.
all of them have orange.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like there's
it's all pink, yellow, and blue mixed together at different ratios. They don't have very many pure. They just don't have the options for cotton. Not that I can get my hands on anyway. And I've bought every line and I've tested every color. There is a lot less for fiber.
Lids in your car still?
No, I should have 4 lids.
Super curious.
If-
I never saw any when you were
Oh, hold on.
setting up. Actually, let's look at the
There's definitely 4. Let's see.
There's gonna be yoink that for a second.
interesting that
I mean, it could be soups aggressive. I guess we've got 2. One's in here. One's over there.
Then just line it up and you'll have to put them stacked like sideways. Okay,
Turn this.
I'm just gonna put this one on the bottom and then where this goes in line for the other one.
There's another single in the other
This is
room.
gonna be the one that we keep for our, what?
There's another single.
Yeah, this is gonna be the one that we keep for steam. We don't ever move this. So you can just move this back to the other one when it's
Back
time.
there.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Here, Alex, so should I think?
Okay. So, let me get this. Now,
So did you want 4 specific colors or?
yeah, we would need we need a pink, a yellow, a blue, and a wild card. And so the yellow would probably be sun yellow. That's not
pink?
pure. It's not pure.
Okay.
Yeah, we would have to do deep violet, turquoise, and we need some, yes, magenta. There it is.
Black speckling a thing?
Yeah. With fiber reactive, it's all the colors and you will see them. You can, I didn't bring black to speckle with because it's so notorious, but I brought silver gray, which is almost black, but it actually speckles well. Black is so powerful that you don't really get speckles from it. It bleeds. It's too concentrated. It's too concentrated. It's one of the most concentrated colors that exist. So,
It's like with icing, red and black are the ones you have to put the most color in.
I still haven't found my red one that tastes good.
It doesn't exist.
And the dyes for the tomatoes are just.
what are they made out of?
Yeah.
They'll never tell us. That's
Okay,
proprietary
that's-
information. If you ask that, they get real haughty with you. Where is it made of? You have to look at the material data safety sheet. Each of the dye companies has one on their website. That's as much as you're getting from them.
Yeah, but like
It's
from
pr-
plants or from
No,
different things.
I use
It's hard to
synthetics.
know.
I use synthetics.
How many minutes?
22. Okay, and then if you could fill this with just enough water. Yay, we have a jug.
So I read your blog, you were also showing speckling with your fingers rather than using a tool.
Yeah, unfortunately, too many students have ruined dye. And they go way. No, you touch it, you have the slightest amount of moisture and you go in here, it turns into a brick. Number 2, you have any transference.
Yeah.
Now you've got another color in there and it's never gonna work the way it did again. And they have no dexterity more. They have no dexterity in their hands to, it's always like huge amounts and then, oh no, that's not what I wanted.
Right.
This prevents that.
Got it.
So yeah, your finger, I like using my fingers after, but this is, yeah.
That's more
perfect.
of an advanced skill, it sounds
It's
like.
more like, you're not gonna get
Your own materials.
this is not going to give you something that, like, this in hands is the same for someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Using your hands when you don't know what you're doing is not going to give you nearly as clean a result. And also, now, a good amount of my dye stock is ruined, which is far in excess of what I get paid for the class.
Yeah, because,
And
yeah.
people are ripping off the labels by accident, or oh, I wanted that color, who's got it? This is like way easier to teach with, and most of the time they're actually picking a color like this or this, and it speckles like shit. These aren't meant for speckling, and then they're unhappy. So I just picked all the best speckle colors and then make it pick from this.
So you make it so that we have a joyous outcome.
You have a joyous outcome.
wanna do more.
Exactly. There's nothing like taking class and hating your result, but the teacher's was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. So now what we're gonna do is we are gonna take, can you do me something real quick?
Yes.
I know I said, I want this to be hot. So if you could just put it on that burner or any burner. And thank you. I need to put these closer and put that
I
away.
spread them out, but someone picked them up.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Easier to grab
I've
than
taught out of crazy, small, awful, they're like, oh yeah, we have space for you. And they put you in a utility closet with a microwave. So this is lovely. All right. So what I'm going to be doing, I think I'll just switch gloves, is taking these pure colors, and you can tell that they're pure because you go on the dye manufacturer's website. This is ProChem's Sabre set, and they will tell you which ones are pure manufactured and anything that's not pure manufactured, a color like this, is just primaries plus some filler. And the filler materials vary widely. I brought a terrible example from Dharma called Pistachio. They do call it one of their advanced colors. But if you look, there's like these little white flecks. It makes a foam like beer.
Oh, wow.
And it fizzes. And the color breaks in a really unpleasant way. And there's almost no dye pigment in this. It's all filler.
Oh, wow.
So that's an example. If anybody wants to be like Loki, the trickster god, and go to town on just the worst colors for speckling, just to see. Oh, by the way, did you like your speckle? You were our fuck around and find out.
It's amazing.
All right, so I'm gonna take these little ones off, and this idea for this came from Guerlain. I have a powder from Guerlain that's 4 different. Yeah. Oh, girl, my makeup collection is like a Sephora counter. It's ridiculous. So they had a powder. It's 4 different colors, and you shake it, and then it comes out another thing. And I was like, that'd be super cool for dyeing. So I ripped it apart with tools, and then had Martin print me one. So we're gonna put. Can I have the raw citric acid and a spoon?
Another spoon or this?
This spoon is great. Okay, so I'm gonna fill them roughly with the same amount of citric acid. And I don't want to fill it all the way to the top. I want a good amount of shake, right? If it's all the way to the top, then and the other thing is that I'm gonna lose a lot of this dye powder because this can't be in a moist environment, and California isn't super moist, but we have offshore breeze. Just the ambient moisture in the air will rust the tops, and this will just become a brick. It's just a cake tar. It'll never shake again. So I'm not really into losing a ton of dye powder, so I only use as much as I need for a session, knowing that if I leave it in there for 6 months, 2 months, come back to it, it's gonna be just all congealed together. There we go. Okay. Is that enough? Yes. So is it deep violet? I think it was actually, what violet? There's a different violet that I want to use. Hold on. There's like 4 violets with this this is the only violet I brought, then this is the one I'll use. They're actually really, really similar, which is why I don't love the Sabre Set line, but I'm really into neons anyway. So,
So it looks like equal amounts dye?
yeah,
and
that
acid?
by volume, not by weight.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Would you mind grabbing that for me? I am so sorry it went to the left. I have no idea how Martin I'm like, oh, can you get me one of these? And then he does, but he does it all in Blender. Oh wait, no, we want to keep it with, so that's violet, yeah. So I would do the violet next to the magenta, the way I slot it in.
Well, it's next to 2 other colors, right? It's only not next to 1.
Right, but I'm just thinking the way it's gonna drop, I wouldn't want the yellow next to the violet this way because I'm going to immediately get brown out. Well, we'll see, actually. We're just gonna see what happens. And then as always, good dye practice to close these lids as quick as possible because the moisture, any amount of moisture that gets in there ruins the dye. Okay. Those 2 go in here. Frost yarn. Nicole Frost yarn is what they assigned me. Okay. I like to do a dry wipe. Wet wipe, you end up with moisture and then you inevitably introduce it right in there. Alcohol works too because it dissipates really quick, but then you smell like a big ol' sanitarium.
Just say you were making abstract.
Yeah. Oh, God, how do they even do that? Okay. There we go. And last one.
Inception.
Oh my God, there it is. Wow, my nose looks weird from the top. I don't think I've seen that view of me before. All right. So the point of this experiment, and then I'm gonna put you guys off, is to look at the difference between what we were just using, which is a more controlled speckle apparatus, and something much larger. All right, now what I'm gonna do is set up the other side. That'd be funny if I lost that little thing. There it is, thank you. Okay.
You just do your yellow silver. The lid.
Yep, thank you. So now we're gonna put the pink, yes, pink, violet, yellow, and then blue. Now we're gonna put in this little guy. So as you can see, when you turn it over, right, now you can turn it like this. So I'm gonna have it like, is there? Huh. There's like some kind of residue on the bottom from the last time I dyed. My nose runs all the time now. Okay, so we're gonna put roughly equal amounts. You could get crazy and, you know, totally, and I do when I'm doing like proper experiments, weigh everything out with a gram scale, but I think for today's class, it's more about like fun and less about doing ridiculous level experiments. Okay, so we're gonna go deep violet. I'm gonna just,
Are you adding the citric acid to this or just the dye?
no, I'm gonna, there's citric acid in the bath.
But
Because how would it go through? These are way too small.
Yeah.
There's no way. I mean, if I have a grinder at home if I want to make powdered citric acid. This. Is it loud outside? Can we open the door again? No, I just want airflow. There's a mask in there if you want to put it on. Normally I would be all about it, but I couldn't get it. I guess we're in a flu season when you can't even get a box of freaking masks.
We have masks.
Anybody that, I caught a contact allergy after dying without masks for 8 years straight. I was like, I've smoked crack cocaine before I got sober. I really don't think I need a mask. Then eventually after so much exposure, it just makes my nose run.
Would you like some?
No. My I tested negative for flu A, flu B, and COVID, but I got super sick last week and all this week. I have, yeah, they're up there. Yeah, when you're actually dying. I mean, it's a great idea. You shouldn't die without them for the contact allergy alone. And if you have any kind of lung issue, this stuff isn't toxic, but you shouldn't be huffing it. The material data safety sheet. So now I'm just gonna turn this over and then I can kind of mix it. Yeah, make sure I really want to mix it because our point of this experiment, right, is this versus Chaos Monster. Does it matter if you keep the colors separate but drop them next to each other? Let's see. Of course it did. The thing I don't like about these is you can see big dump marks. We'll see if I can get it fast enough though. Okay, Alex, when you're ready, can I have that bear yarn that's cooking? There we go.
And then our first cinnamon roll will be done cooking.
Yay! And then after this, you guys get to decide, do you want to do low water table? Do you want to do an experiment where you have 1 and 1? Do you want to do this simply so you have something to knit with, right? Something pretty you want to go home with. You want to be a chaos demon and do something weird. Like, up to you. I wanted to give you options. Some people like the high water table look, some people don't.
What do you think the biggest differences are between the low and the high?
I sent around the pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll pull it for you as soon as this gets on the heat, and then I'll talk. So this half is going to be our chaos demon. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, go.
Look at the ballad.
Wow. And then this one.
That yellow really didn't want to.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, what do we got? We've got like, let's see.
There's a little delay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
By a little kind of a.
So now what I'm gonna do, just for funsies, should I like, nah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, no. Why don't I take 2 and 2? I'll try that there. There we go. Now on that side, I'll see if I can maybe do even less. But yeah, that would be that. And you know what's in here if any of you guys want to use it. And I'm going to put these in here for you. And just in case anyone's like, hey, I want to try one of the other splitting colors, I brought some other splits. But you let me know. I have empty jars. I can help put those together.
How does this perform against the one that you'd already selected as the gray?
Well, this gunmetal, I
It
have
says no.
no, because you're gonna see this one, you don't see any yellow, you see no pink, it is true neutral. I don't know how they made it. This doesn't split. Future batches split. I'm hoarding the last of this one because if you want a gray speckle, remember we did the gray yarn for your cat that died? That's this color.
Okay.
So if you like that color, this is the one that we used.
Okay.
The same batch. Yeah. These little, they're coming off a little bit, the little taped on ones.
Is that for cat?
Is
For Boo?
Yeah, when her cat passed away, I was like, oh, make a cat thing and I'll dye the yarn for it and send me a picture. It was fun.
The cat named Cat, but it was in a Neko.
There we go. And then this goes back on the heat whenever for 22 minutes. And I was, yeah. All right, I'm gonna put this in the center and you guys can decide. And if you need any help formulating an idea or you want to run something by before you put it in your yarn, I'm going to go wash this and dry it really well. If anybody wants to use this, I have a second one.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, I'm going for alpha this time.
I think it's very interesting. There's like there's like tape or something. There's something sticky on the bottom. I think of yours. The purple one.
Yeah, you want that?
Okay. Yeah, just the purple one.
I'm just gonna go.
What are you doing?
Rainbow.
That
and
sounded
then
really terrible.
Rainbow and then this.
The way it came out, I was like, "What are you doing?"
What are you doing? Oh my god.
So are you gonna do that one? Okay. I think I'm gonna do
The orange?
the orange and the other one, and maybe a yellow. I need a good picture.
Actually, you know what? I might do this and orange.
Ooh, interesting.
Oh, that's right.
I went to embrace that right now, the alchemist. And I'll try that.
Can I see that one?
I almost did this last time.
Oh, and I did do. What did you do last time?
Is the
Shadow and intersection. Yeah.
So that's why I have to pick it up.
So I'm not going like this. Oh, interesting.
And like I can put it right where I want it. And I have the orange.
Like this?
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking I might take a white into that.
I can move it on the top one. I'm volunteering to move it. I don't know if I should. I'm not top enough. We'll see. You can alter this? Oh, you got it.
I haven't started that. I'm gonna wait for that.
Alright, then you guys pop Was there a swatch for the cinnamon roll style?
Is there what?
A swatch for cinnamon roll?
The one where you
I remember
did it
the
on-
high versus low.
Or, and if you're going to do it on,
My concern is I just don't want these live swatches now that there's dye on the table.
Oh, yeah.
I had some unfortunate dye transfer, and so you're welcome to come over here. I can lay them all out, but I don't want them near where it's getting dyed.
if we are gonna do it on the saran wrap, do we put it on the saran wrap before we start speckling?
They're just in the trays in case you wanted to use a tray and also to keep your stuff
Yeah.
separate.
I just,
Yeah, don't
Maybe
put the
that's what I
stain
wanna
on
do.
this and then speckle
Correct.
it and then put plastic.
well, I
That's
was
why I was
thinking,
like,
do
wait.
I do it in the pan and then move it on there? And then I was like, hilarity will ensue.
Hold on, let me see if I can find.
So those closures we're not using.
The ones in the tray, she said that we're not using them because these are the ones that give the better result. So that way, in the future, when we want to experiment, like we can go to those, but these ones will give us a result we should be happy with. Right?
Yep.
Especially on something that I don't know how to do yet.
On the all the fiber reactors, is that a discussion?
I think that they break beautifully and it gives you a really speckled result without having to do any work. But if you don't like the fact that you're going to have a pink and yellow and a blue speckle all the time,
Sure.
because they're all just, it's, you get into a lot more color options and less breakage, and you can create the broken look by just layering the speckles.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Okay, I'm looking for the high water table one. Where did it go?
This one in the round?
Yeah.
Unknown.
Can you show those to Elizabeth?
Probably should have done it direct, like on the tray and then put it on the thing.
Yeah.
Rubber duck for you.
No, just let it cool.
I'm fine with that.
So you can put it here.
So you want to review, replicate this? I think that was really maybe the alchemist one.
I think I'm done. Nicole,
What colors work?
How do I turn this off?
To replicate, just like, to get like, I wanted to do the alchemist with the edge of I feel like this is
High water table.
new.
Why don't you do one of each?
That's what I was trying to do.
Do one of each and then you can tell. There's no way for me to create out of your head. So if you want to be a scientist about it, do one of each and then you'll know exactly which one you like better. Okay, how do we turn this off?
Enough? Or do we need to get a fresh one, or can we do 2 overlapping pieces?
Use the larger